In today's video, we are looking at a specific junction in the county of Berkshire. The junction in question is known as the Chieveley Interchange, and it seems to have more than its fair share of minor bumps, and I think I know why. Let's discuss it. One trucker's eye! This interchange links two of Britain's busiest roads, the A34 and also the M4 Motorway. It also indirectly links two minor roads in Priors Court Road to the north and Graces Lane, and also has slip roads which exit Chieveley services to the south. Unless there is something going on at the nearby Newbury Showgrounds, this roundabout tends to work pretty well. However, as I'm doing this video right now, you can see that that is not the case. This is the current traffic situation according to Google Maps at 9:30 on a Thursday morning. And as you can see from the red lines, the traffic looks to be at a standstill on the roundabout and also heading north from the A34 link road. Now I'm pretty sure the majority of you watching this video are drivers yourselves. I'd also like to hazard a guess that many of you have driven round a roundabout at some point and thought, these lanes don't match up. Quite often you can go round a roundabout in the correct lane only to find yourself in the wrong lane for a different destination halfway around the roundabout, and that's because the lanes don't match up. However, in the case of this roundabout, that is not what I believe happens. I'd like to share my opinion with you as to what I think the problem could be on this roundabout, and also I'd like you to share yours in the comments section. Prior to this roundabout actually being here, this is what the original junction looked like back in the day. One of the main reasons for this roundabout actually existing in this day and age is the amount of traffic that uses the A34 to go to places like Southampton Docks. The container terminal at Southampton is one of the busiest container terminals in the UK. Despite having three rail operators, DB Cargo, Freightliner and GB Rail Freight, the container terminal alone sees the arrival and departure of 2,500 trucks every single day. And a good number of these trucks will arrive via the A34, having passed through the Chieveley Interchange. As anyone knows, especially those people who live in Oxford, the A34 is probably not fit for purpose at just 2 lanes wide. So could you imagine where we would be if these people got their way?
Well, basically, to try and stop the contractors coming in and clearing woods, we've constructed all these walkways and tree houses up on the top, and when the final eviction day comes, we all climb up our trees and stay in them as long as possible.
In 1996, protesters took to the woodlands around Newbury to protest at the brand new A34 Newbury Bypass being built. It was only during my research for this video that I found out that it actually has its own name, the Winchester Preston Trunk Road. Now, as you can see from this banner, at the time, more roads, more cars, more pollution. This was just one angle that the protesters used. Another angle was about saving the trees and the wildlife. But let's just return to that first angle for just a short moment. Could you imagine if this bypass was never built? Even in 1996, the queues through Newbury on the A34 were horrendous. As Steve Rousell, the former Highways Agency's project manager for the Newbury Bypass, explains.
We've got rid of the notorious bottleneck on the A34, so it's good news all round.
Just imagine how the traffic would be in that bottleneck here in 2024. Speaking 20 years later, Mr. Rousell looked back at the environmental changes brought to road building in the UK by the protests at the Newbury site.
The protests at Newbury undoubtedly helped to focus attention on making sure that the environment was a very key priority in in subsequent road planning projects.
I dare say there wouldn't be many people that would disagree with that. But have a listen to this lady. She is a former protester at the Newbury site, and here she is speaking back in 2016.
20 years on, she still believes the protests turned public opinion.
Newbury was absolutely critical in changing British transport policy fundamentally. There were 600 road schemes proposed initially by the Thatcher government. By the time Labour came in 1997, the road programme was scrapped completely. So by anyone's standard, that was an enormously successful campaign.
I'm not sure how she applies the logic of not building roads as a successful campaign. To me, this kind of view always smacks of naivety. You'll also get a lot of naivety about freight being put on the railways. There are 3 rail operators running out of Southampton, and yet still 2,500 trucks are using that dock alone on any given day. Then you also have to factor in, you have all of the shops in Southampton, all of the supermarkets, there's a little distribution centre, and many other warehouses in and around the area that need trucks to deliver directly to them. Seeing not building roads as a success is very naive. With the UK's population rising exponentially year on year, can you imagine, without new roads being built, what the UK's road infrastructure will look like in just 10 years' time? What this lady doesn't seem to realise is that the more the trucks are held up in traffic, the more trucks are needed on the road to complete ever-growing amounts of deliveries. And just by taking a look at this graph, we can see here just how much the population of the UK has increased since the lady in question was protesting in Newbury in 1996. Can you just imagine that if that lady, along with her fellow protesters, had got their way and the A34 bypass had not been built, how Newbury would be faring today in 2024? It really doesn't bear thinking about. But let's get back to looking at what is wrong with this roundabout. As you can see in the video, I have just used the exit from the M4 eastbound at junction 13, and I will be taking the A34 southbound towards Newbury itself. This video was taken very early in the morning on a weekend, so there's not a lot of traffic about, but it's that section there that seems to cause a lot of the problems. I have spoken with many drivers who all have their own individual opinions on what is wrong with this roundabout. The general consensus is that the lanes don't match up. Another viewpoint I heard a couple of times was that the road narrows off where the white lines that separate the lanes are not painted. By watching the footage of the drone in the air, looking at the traffic on the roundabout, I think we can all see exactly what the problem is. And I'm going to talk you through that right now. As you can see, there are 4 lanes that lead up to the traffic lights. 2 will continue round towards the A34 south on the top of your screen, and 2 to go off at the M4 eastbound towards London. And zooming in, I'm going to do my best to describe what's going on here. I'm going to place a line across 3 lanes, and now I'm going to duplicate that exact same line and place it a little bit further around the roundabout. What we're seeing now is that line is now across 4 lanes, 2 for the slip roads and 2 for heading round onto the A34 southbound. The 2 vehicles in the left lanes at the traffic lights should be going onto the M4 slip road, whilst the vehicles in lanes 3 and 4 will all head into lanes 1 and 2 as they head round the roundabout. Take a look at this. If the white lines that separate the lanes had been painted on the roundabout, this is where you would be going in each particular lane. I deliberately haven't completed the red line between lanes 1 and 2, so let's complete it with another overlay. As you can see, if the traffic in lane 1 stays in lane and the traffic in lane 2 follows suit, traffic in lane 2 has no other option but to encroach across lane 3, even though you can't see the lines because they never put them on the roundabout. Now, did they do this on purpose? Did they know that there was not enough space for the vehicles to all go round the roundabout side by side in 4 lanes? Well, no, I don't think that's the case either. I just think it was badly designed. And I think there's a very easy way to fix it. All you have to do is delete this little bit here. We can then paint our new lines on the floor, and then everybody knows where they are going. If you're new to the channel and you've enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing. To all my existing subscribers, once again, I thank every single one of you. It really does matter to me. I'm going to leave you with a bit more footage from this roundabout so you can make your own mind up as to whether it needs sorting out. That's all from Berkshire. Had to get that one in. I will see you all next time on the Trucker's Eye.